Welcome, my children. Welcome to episode 1 of Spooky Harry. This is my pumpkin for Halloween, as you can see. And now, for today's review, how would you like the Disney villains showing up at your door on Halloween? Mickey's House of Villains is the direct-to-video/DVD Halloween special to the Disney Channel show House of Mouse. So Mickey's House of Villains tells the story of the annual Halloween celebration at House of Mouse. However, there are an awful lot of Disney villains attending that particular night, and they are plotting to make the House of Mouse their house and give it their own makeover and transform it into the House of Villains. I have heard many people left this movie underwhelmed and dissatisfied, and while I can see their point of view and their criticisms are not wrong, they're justified, believe you me. For what it is, I actually like this movie. Me and my sister, well, used to absolutely adore it back when we got it on VHS video in 2002. I was just 7 when I first saw it, so I didn't think much of flaws with it at the time. But now, the 22-year-old Harry can see its problems more clearly as I'm a more judgmental on film than I was back then. So without further ado, let's get to the good stuff first, because I don't think this movie's as bad as everyone says it is, as I stated in the intro. The highlights of this special include the Halloween shorts and classic Disney cartoons, which they play throughout the movie. They are underrated, wonderful works of art in the Disney library, and they're some of the finest cartoons and animations ever produced by the Mouse House, in my opinion. They include Huey, Dewey and Louie teaming up with a witch Hazel while going trick-or-treating to convince Donald to give them a treat, Mickey's Mechanical House, Donald Duck and the Gorilla, Mickey, Donald and Goofy ghost hunting. That short was actually the very first Disney animated classic, Snow White, in 1937, so that cartoon, just like Snow White, is also celebrating its 80th anniversary, and it still holds up. It's a treat to witness, and the others include the Fairy Goofies, and the Huey, Dewey and Louie trick-or-treating and getting revenge on Donald for spooking them, and Mickey and Minnie, Hansel and Gretel. So yes, these shorts are some of the best parts of the movie, even though they are not related to the narrative in any way, shape or form. They are the parts that will stay with you the most. They are totally awesome replacements. They sound almost exactly like the original voice actors. They're that accurate in their impressions. You wouldn't know the difference. You'd think it was still the same voice actors voicing them today. And the animation has a gothic, awesome Halloween vibe to it, especially in the animation style in the cartoons they show. You making this movie is essential Halloween viewing, but by far my favourite part of the entire special is the villain song, the musical number that the villains get when they finally overrun the House of Mouse. It's our house now, it's our house now. I can't get that song out of my freaking head. The villains are so much fun to spend time with. You just want to hang out with them in this nightclub, and you'll be singing the song along with them. It's what we've been waiting for in this movie. It's not only the movie's defying moments, but one of my top 10 favourite Disney villain songs ever. It's that staggeringly good. However, I did confirm this is by no means a perfect movie, not even close. So let's get to the criticisms which many have with this movie, which I am on the same page with them on. The most obvious issue with this movie is that it's titled Mickey's House of Villains, and yet there's barely any House of Villains in it. Even though I absolutely love the cartoons and shorts that they play, they are what make this movie worth watching. The actual narrative of this movie is paper thin. The villains don't even rise up against Mickey until 45 minutes into the freaking movie. I'm not lying. That's literally when they decide to put their plan into action. Why waste 45 minutes of this movie? Why waste time waiting to make the House of Mouse your house until midnight when you could have just taken over the moment you walked in? Movie, I hope you're aware that your poor audience has been patiently waiting for the House of Mouse to transform and become the House of Villains. This is not quite the movie they were promised, and even when the villains do take over the House of Mouse, they don't change it at all. They just rehash what the House of Mouse already did and just keep showing Halloween cartoons. Why? Why not transform the House of Mouse into, a villain bar or villain fortress? And my point is, this movie's underwhelming from a cinematic standpoint because it's too short. It needed to be at least half an hour longer than just an hour and 10 minutes, which is the actual runtime. Even though don't get me wrong, the cartoons are classics, but showing cartoons that much in the movie at the rate you do just interrupts the flow of the proper narrative that we've paid to see. I mean, this movie's story should have been an epic throwdown and duel and showdown between the Disney heroes and villains. That would be a Disney extravaganza. I cannot believe that Disney has not thought of that, even though it's 80 years old now. When are we going to get a Disney heroes versus villains fight? When? And it's illogical and makes no sense how the villains were just able to instantly throw out all of the Disney heroes just like that. I mean, I think Hercules could easily kick their asses, and Simba from Lion King, he could put up a good fight, and so could Merlin from Sword in the Stone. He could just obliterate them all with his magic. You see what I mean? Why was Jafar the ringleader and the head of the villains in House of Villains? Now, I'm a huge fan of Jafar. He's in my top 5 Disney villains easily, and he's far from the worst choice to lead them, but he's not the best choice either. Why couldn't Maleficent have gotten more screen time? But do you know who should have led the villains? The answer is Scar. This guy, of all the Disney villains they could have left out, they forgot about Scar. If Scar was the lead villains in this movie, I would have cowered in fear behind the sofa. If the Disney villains took over my house and Scar was the head of them, I would be like, okay, Scar, just take my candy. I don't want any trouble. And let's not forget that incredibly underwhelming final fight between Mickey and Jafar. Mickey dresses in his Sorcerer's Apprentice gear and takes on Jafar. They both go toe-to-toe. What could have and should have been a spectacular climax just turns out to be them playing a golf ball with a magical ball. And Aladdin just out of thin air comes and hands them the lamp, and the lamp sucks Jafar in. The battle lasted like 10 seconds. I mean, but if Aladdin could, if you could just defeat Jafar with the lamp, why the hell didn't Aladdin just come immediately when the villains took over the house? What took him this long? Okay, calm down, Harry, calm down. You're overthinking this. Just breathe. Although I do have one final positive, thankfully. It was hilarious to see Donald dress as a devil and try his best to literally scare everyone in the house even though he ended up being unsuccessful. So even though now I have very mixed feelings on House of Villains, I would still say it's worth watching for the cartoons, but do not expect much in the way of narrative. They got amazing voice actors as replacements to voice the villains, even though Jonathan Freeman does reprise his role as Jafar. I'd give Mickey's House of Villains 3 stars out of 5. Regardless of its flaws that I pointed out, I still occasionally watch it each Halloween just for the fun of it. Well, I love you guys, thank you for watching, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and what do you think of Mickey's House of Villains? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Google+, and on Instagram, and I'll see you all next time when I continue part 2 of my Q&A. Look forward to that, and remember, movies are us. I'll see you then. Bye, guys.